Hey gorgeous, welcome back to Life in Style. Today's video is going to be a green smoky eye using expensive makeup, so higher end makeup. What I want to do is do several different looks throughout the next couple weeks and do them both in an affordable manner and also using high-end products. So I've been wanting to put this look together on camera for quite some time. So I want to start with this one again, which is a green smoky eye. I am using high-end makeup, and then in a few days I will film a green smoky eye with affordable products that I have here, and I'm doing that across the board. It's not just the eyeshadows or the eye products that are high-end. I'm using a full face of higher-end foundation and primers and blushes and that sort of thing. So the other video will be all across the board. More affordable products, not necessarily drugstore. Some things you may have to order online, but again, they are more affordable. So we're just gonna go ahead and get right into it. The first thing I did, which is already done, is prime my eyelids. I am using my MAC Painterly paint pot in Painterly. And I like this because it really does act as a concealer. I know a lot of people use concealers, but I do like this very much. And what I do is then I just set it down with an eyeshadow that is basically my skin tone. So whatever that is for you, that's what I personally do to set that down. What I have done though is only done the upper half of my eyelids, because I'm going to be using cream shadows, and trial and error before showed me that if I'm going to do cream shadow on my eyes, I don't want to do a primer and then powder it and then put cream over that. So I learned my lesson many times with that. So what we are going to start doing, as I normally do, is start carving out the crease, and we are going to use a green shadow. The one that I am using is in my MAC palette that I made myself, and what I will do is I will list all of the colors down below, but I am going to be using this green that you see right here, and I'm going to be picking that up with my Juvia's Place J125 blender brush, which basically is just a very fluffy brush to get that color over a bigger portion of my lid. So I'm just going to pick that up and make sure that I tap off that excess, and then I'm going to start carving out the crease on both sides. And per usual, I know it's been quite some time since I have done a makeup video, but per usual, I am going to start this well above my natural crease because my eyes are hooded, and I haven't really been sleeping well lately. So my eyes, if you can notice, they're a little puffier. So I really do have to make sure that that color goes above the natural crease. I don't want to put a lot. I'm just putting a little bit, again, enough to have that kind of delineation between what I'm doing on my lid and what I'm doing above this portion of the eye. So now that I have the crease carved out where I want it or where I need to put it, I'm going to go ahead and just start straight onto the lid. And I have two shadows that I'm going to be using today. I'm going to start out with a cream shadow, and then I'm going to add a powdered shimmer shadow, which I'll show you in a moment. But what I'm going to start out with, just gorgeous, absolutely beautiful, is a Charlotte Tilbury Eyes to Mezmerize in Cleopatra. So that is what the container looks like, and that is what the green inside looks like. So it's basically more of a jewel toned green. So you can see it's almost like a peacock green, but it's so absolutely beautiful. I'm obviously not going to need any Fix Plus with this because it's cream, but I am going to pick up a brush, and I have, like I said, done this look off camera. I did notice that the brush did not apply this very well, so what I did was I used the brush to kind of make the line where I want the shadow to stay, and then I went back in with my fingers and just applied it, and that worked out perfectly. So I'm just going to grab this with a brush, and I'm using my Sigma Cream Color, which is an E58, so it's a flat synthetic brush. I'm just going to pick that up, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that all over the lid. And again, it may not apply well with this brush, but I just want to get that, basically get the area that I want that green in. So as you can tell, I've gone above the natural crease. I'm actually going to bring it up a little higher just to make sure that that green is going to show up really nicely, because once I start blending this out up top, I'm going to lose some of this color. So even if I bring it up and it seems a little weird, like because it's too high, I've learned, you know, over time doing makeup for my eyes, which again are hooded, that, you know, obviously you're not going to be up here, but that when you think it's too high, it's really not. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my finger, I'm going to work on one eye at a time, just because the cream basis for this shadow, you know, so I'm just grabbing my ring finger, or using my ring finger, because it's the weakest finger that you have on your hand, so I like to use that when I'm like putting on eye cream or over my eyelid, because it's just more gentle that way. So as you can see, that's applying much, much nicer with my finger than with the brush, but again, I just wanted to get that placement down, and the brush worked well for that. So really that is it as far as placement for the cream shadow. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up that MAC green again with the same brush that I used earlier, and what I want to do is lightly blend out the top. I don't want to like mush this around, but I do want to blend out the top, and I do want to use a fluffier brush for it because I want it to be softer. So that's going to dissipate pretty quickly, only because it's a cream shadow, but as you can see, it did blend out nicely, and I still have that peacock green showing. So we're going to move on to the second shadow, and like I said, I'm going to concentrate on one eye first to get this set down, because I do have oily eyelids and I don't want this to crease. So I am going to be using this Luxe eyeshadow from Bobbi Brown. It's in chlorophyll. I did get this at a like a discount cosmetics store, so I don't know if she still sells these, but it is gorgeous. So if I can find it, if it's, you know, somewhere online, I will absolutely link it down below for you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab another kind of flat synthetic brush. This one is from ColourPop. I just want something flat, because what I want to do is I want to pick up this color and just press it on my eyelids first to kind of set down that cream color, and then we can go back and blend that out well. So again, I went above the natural crease. I am going to grab the fluffy brush that I usually use, which is from Sedona Lace, and I'm just going to blend that out without adding any other colors or anything like that. I just want to make sure that it's blown out on the top and not so harsh. Even if you see the lines, obviously, because I'm not bringing it up too much, you still want that very diffused. All right, so that for now is where I'm going to leave that. I'm going to move on to the next eye. And I am going to dip back into the Charlotte Tilbury green and use, where did I put it at? The cream brush that I used earlier. Where did I put it at? There we go. It wanted to get away from me. So that's the Sigma Cream Color E58. I'm just going to pick up that green, and I'm going to start getting that on the lid. Again, more than anything for placement. So again, it may seem like I'm bringing it up really high, but I'm going to blend a lot of that away. And because of my eyes, I don't want it to end up where it's, you know, just on the lid. You'll never see it. So we're done with the Charlotte Tilbury color. And actually, we're not done with the Charlotte Tilbury color. I'm going to use my finger to deepen that up. So just like I did on the other eye, I'm just using my finger and I'm just tapping this on. Now this eyeshadow, this cream shadow, as far as I know, it is readily available on her website. So like I said, I will link everything down below, and because I think that's where I got it. So I think this is something that's readily available and not a like limited edition item or something like that. So now we're going to put away the cream shadow. I'm just going to clean my finger here because I've got green everywhere. And then we're going to go back into that Luxe eyeshadow from Bobbi Brown. I'm going to pick up that flat brush from ColourPop, and I'm going to put this all over the lid, right on to the cream color. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna leave it a little low right now. I'm gonna go back in with the Juvia's Place brush that I had used at the beginning, grab that MAC green eyeshadow, and again, I will link the names and everything down below, and I wanna start just at the edges, because again, I don't want to kind of move that cream color too much around, but I do want to blend it out so it's not too harsh. And we'll clean up on the corners like we normally do with a eye makeup remover wipe. And I think I'm going to add a little more green on this side. So let me do that to make sure that we're even in how high these colors are. All right, and then I'm going to go back into the Bobbi Brown shimmer shadow and just make sure that that is packed on the lid. And then a little above it, of course, so that it can show. But I really want that green glitter to show. So I'm going to grab the very fluffy brush again and just make sure that that is nicely blended. So what I want to do just to add a little bit more interest and some depth on the corners is use a black shadow. The one I'm going to be using is my Natasha Denona Blackest Black Matte Shadow, and this is a single shadow. I have used this many times on my channel. I have shown it many times on my channel. It's one of my favorite black shadows. Just really, really good quality. So I'm going to use my Sigma Blending E25 brush because it's a nice, it's blending, but it's still a smaller one, so I can really control where I'm putting this color. So I just want to do it in the corner just to deepen up. And it doesn't have to show a lot. Again, you're going to see that depth because of the black color, but I don't need to necessarily cover up that green. And because I'm putting a small amount, I'm just using this brush itself to kind of blend that line up top a little bit. And again, you could see the difference between this eye and that eye, even though I don't have so much black in the corner there. This eyelid, and I've said it before, always takes color much better than the other one. So as you can see, the black is really showing up on this one, so I really want to blend a lot of that away. And also make sure that we have it blended here. So I'm just using the same brush, just not adding any extra black on there. All right, so that, for the most part, is the actual eyes done. I am going to highlight the brow bone, of course, and I am going to be using my Smashbox Precision Concealer brush. I've used this before. I just love the way it tapers and points at the end, so you can really get underneath the eyebrow very well. So I'm going back into my MAC palette here, and I'm just grabbing the whiter shade, and I am going to tap some of that off and build it up how I want it. It's like anything, you can always add, but it's so hard to take away, you know? So I just keep working until I have it the way I feel I want it. And again, this brush is just so nice because, I mean, I've had this brush for years. I don't even know if it's still available. I would think so. It seems like it's something that would be kind of a staple brush, but I've had it for years and I love it. All right, so there is the highlight on the brow bone. I am now at this point going to clean up under the eyes and get all this green off. I'm also going to do my liner, and then I'll be back so we can finish off the rest of the face and eyelashes and all that good stuff. So I will be back. So I've gone ahead and zoomed you out just a bit. I did the winged liner and I just cleaned up under my eyes, so we're gonna move on to the rest of the face. To start, I'm gonna be using the Cover FX Blurring Primer, which I like a lot. I had purchased this on my own and then ended up getting it, I wanna say in a BoxyCharm several months ago, and I was not mad about that. And then for corrector, because I always start with that under my eyes, I'm going to be using my Smashbox color correcting stick in dark, which is the dark orange, and that just helps to minimize my dark circles underneath there. I like this because it is very controllable with the pencil, so you just kind of basically draw where you want that coverage. And I'm just going to cover up some smaller spots that the orange usually helps. To blend in that corrector, I'm going to be using my Real Technique sponge, and I'm just going to be using the pointed end to really get that into the skin and make sure that it's diffused a bit. Then for foundation today, I'm going to be using one of my all-time favorites, which is the Estee Lauder Double Wear Stay in Place Makeup. This is just honestly, for me, hands down, whenever I have a very, very special occasion, I always grab for this because it lasts forever. The coverage is amazing. And although I'm just going to get my hair out of the way there. Although I always set my foundation, you don't necessarily have to set this one because it is, for me, a matte finish. So I am just going to go ahead and start dotting that and kind of spreading that out a bit. What I've taken to doing with foundation is as I'm dotting it, I'm just kind of spreading it a little bit so that when I go in with my beauty blender or brush or whatever, it just spreads out a little easier. And to buff that into the skin, I am going to be using my beauty blender to do that with. And you guys know, I know it looks so super pale in the camera. Everything will warm up as we keep going, because in the mirror it does not look that pale. So just be warned, I'm not going to look like Casper when this is all said and done. For concealer today, I'm going to be using my NARS Soft Matte Complete Concealer. That's what it's called, right? Yeah, Complete Concealer. One of my very, very favorites. Super high coverage, but you don't need a lot, which is really good to get the coverage you need. So I'm not going to be putting on too much, just enough so that I can conceal underneath the eyes and a few spots around my face. And I'm just using kind of like a flat brush there. This is the BH Cosmetics 121. I just find it's really nice for applying like this cream type of concealer underneath the eyes. Then I'm just going to use the Beauty Blender, which is damp, just to kind of further blend that out and really press it into the skin. I'm telling you, I've been having so many problems with under this eye, and I think, again, it's just because I'm not sleeping well. So I've got just bags under there that are just starting to really, really annoy me in a really bad way. So I'm just using the concealer to kind of spot conceal some stuff that I want to cover, and then I'm going to use the Beauty Blender again to just get that into the skin. To set the under eye concealer, because it happens no matter what kind of concealer I use, I always kind of crepe up and stuff. I'm going to be using my Anastasia banana powder, and to apply the banana powder, I'm using my Juvia's Place J123 Tapered Blush. Excuse me, I always mention this. It's made for blush, and I use it underneath my eyes because the shape is just really, really perfect. And I'm not going to put too much because I feel like as you get older, a lot of powder underneath your eyes tends to dry them out or make them look dry, and we certainly don't want to do that. This underneath here is driving me nuts, and I think it's just, again, because I'm not sleeping well. To set the entire face, I do want to add a little bit of powder. I'm going to be using the Hourglass Translucent Setting Powder. I got the smaller size. I got this from Beautylish, and I have used it many times. I really do like it. It is a translucent powder, as it says, so you know, I just always grab a little bit just because of my skin tone, but it works very well for me without, I feel, leaving any white cast or anything, so I like it. For bronzer, I'm not going to contour today. For bronzer, I'm going to be using my Too Faced Dark Chocolate Soleil. And again, we want to warm up the skin to kind of bring that flush back of some warmth. And once I add the blush and all that, like I said, the skin will be warmed up again. It's just, it really does not look as pale as it looks on camera, because I can obviously see it. It looks nowhere near as pale in the mirror. So let's go ahead and finish off the bottom of the eye. So what I am going to do is I am going to grab the Natasha Denona Blackest Black. I just want this to be black underneath. Nothing over the top, nothing different or green or anything like that. So I am going to use a Morphe M432 brush, which is that flat definer brush. I love these brushes so much. Anytime I can get my hands on them, like at Ulta, so that I don't have to pay shipping, I absolutely do that. So I'm just grabbing that black on the brush, and what I'm doing is I'm starting in the outer corner of the eye, and I am just applying that shadow as close to the lash line as possible. And I'm not going all the way to the inner corner with it. I'm just going maybe around 3/4 of the way. I mean, you could do what you want. If you want to bring it all the way in, absolutely can do that. But I just want to, I found that I've been liking, if I'm doing black shadow on the bottom lash line, that I like it just kind of on the outer 2/3 or 1/3 of the eye. What I'm going to do is I'm going to now use my Morphe E36, which is that really tiny fluffy brush. And what I want to do is go into the black again, just put a little bit on there, tap off that excess, and then close to the lash line still, start smudging that out, and then we'll blow it out a little more. And it's going to start blowing out anyway because the brush is fluffy. It's not straight like the one I was just using, but I kind of want to make sure that I control how far I bring it down. Then to tightline on the bottom, I'm going to be taking my Ardency in Modster pencil in black, and I'm going to make sure that it's just straight up black. What I think it is, yeah, just black. And I'm just going to tightline on the bottom, and that I am going to bring all the way to the inside. So I usually do my lashes at the very end, so we're going to go ahead and move on to blush. And for blush today, I'm going to be using my Marc Jacobs Air Blush in 508, which is Night Fever and Hot Stuff. I bought this last Christmas. It's a blush that I have been wanting for forever, but I believe the price on this is $42, so it's not an inexpensive blush, but it is very, very nice. So to apply the blush, I'm going to be using my face and cheek brush from Smashbox, which is beautiful. I've used this for blush, I've used this for powder. And what I normally do with this blush, because of the coloring, is I tend to stick to the darker side. It is really beautiful, very, very pigmented, and it lasts forever. That's the blush. For highlighter, I'm going to be using my Jouer powder highlighter in Rose Quartz, which is one of my favorite highlighters. These highlighters are very, very good. And to apply that, I am going to be using my Morphe M501, which is perfect for highlighter. And I'm actually going to use this as well to highlight the inner corner of the eye. And I think we are up to, actually let me do the inner corner of the eyes, and then we're going to be up to putting on the lashes. As you can see, that highlights very, very well in the inner corner. You don't need a lot. How pretty that is. I think it looks gorgeous. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put on my lashes off camera so that I can complete the eye look, and then we'll come back and finish off with lips. So I popped on my lashes, and I did just put on a pair that I have already used. I have a lot of high-end ones like velour lashes and that sort of thing, but these lashes are actually from Kiss. They're like the faux luxe line or something like that. These are in boudoir, which I think are absolutely gorgeous. Like, they look like really high-end eyelashes. So I just popped these on because I'm filming just to film today. Like, I'm not going anywhere. It's already nighttime. And so I didn't want to like open a fresh pack of lashes. I put these on, but the effect for me anyway is still the same, and they're very, very gorgeous and very beautiful lashes. So we're going to go ahead and move on to lips. I'm going to start out by lining my lips with my NARS Precision Lip Pencil, or lip liner I should say, in Lavandou, which I have used many, many times before. It's one of my favorite lip liners. Then I always lightly fill in the lips. That way, if my lipstick, because I don't usually wear matte lipstick, kind of dissipates throughout the day, I still have something almost like a stain on my lips. And so for lipstick today, I'm going to be using my Dose of Color cream lipstick, and this is in Fig, and this is what it looks like. So the coloring is still very, very complementary with the liner. And then to add a little shine to it, I'm going to be going over that with my Fenty Beauty Gloss Bomb in Fenty Glow. This is her original one. I think she has another one, which I haven't really looked for, but this is, when it says Gloss Bomb, it is the bomb. It is such a good gloss. So we're just going to go with some gloss action there. I like the way that looks. So that is it for this look. I hope it's a look you enjoyed, and I hope it inspires you to perhaps do a green smoky eye. Like I said, I will be doing one with all affordable products in just a few days, so be on the lookout for that. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and also click that little bell so you get alerted as to whenever I upload new content. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.